You don't want to come bring them back into a society that's already on the decline. How else can you really say it? Degrading. Our culture is degrading before our very eyes. Our infrastructure is crumbling before our very eyes. Our schools and our colleges are getting indoctrinated and radicalized before our very eyes. The reason you get your passport is to leave, not come back. Why do people keep saying, yeah, don't bring her back? Yeah, you gotta learn their language. You have to do that anyway to be an expat. The point is you live in another country to maximize your dollar. Why would you ever go back? Let's hear about a passport bro. So he has an interesting video. We'll cover more later, but he builds his house. I'm gonna kind of give you the short end of it here real quick. The dude builds a house in the Philippines. It cost him about $80,000. And I can't remember what else. He says his living, like he puts it on a Excel sheet, everything he spends from like mortgage, which is nothing left, from like groceries, gas, bill, whatever, everything, right? And it's like a couple $100 a month. This dude's now living in the Philippines. That's his wife right there on the right. We've covered them before, but now he did a video called Why I Went Looking for a Wife Overseas. Again, haven't watched these, but let's check it out because his perspective is very interesting. He's living the life right now that quite a few men are actively angling to get to.
Hey everyone, it's me again. If you're new to the channel, my name is Corey. My wife's name is Raquel. We moved to the Philippines from Chicago. She was born and raised here. We did all the paperwork. She came to the US with me for a couple of years. We had a long-term plan to move over to the Philippines. That being said, I looked personally for a wife overseas, obviously, because I have one. So I understand what it's like and why you would do it. But it is definitely a hot topic right now. It's actually, it's been a hot topic, not like hot sexy, but
I thought you were making.
No, I'm not trying to be sexy. I'm saying it's a very popular topic right now, and it's been on the rise for the last 3, 4, 5 years. In the last year or two, it's just statistics show that it's just going up, men looking abroad or overseas for a wife. And I get it because I have one. So again, you know, I understand it. I know my reasons, and I see the reasons why everyone is doing it. Okay, yes, I'm trying to be happy and positive about this. So I don't want to offend anyone because it's definitely a very sensitive and taboo kind of topic in the States.
Especially women out there.
Yes, and again,
look how they have to preface the video saying we're going to be positive. This is my experience only because the insane backlash from Western women. She even said it. Yeah, because the women out there will literally pick this video apart and call this guy all sorts of names and call her all sorts of names and make a whole bunch of claims about both of them simply because of him going overseas to find what he wants. He went where he is more respected.
I'm not trying to offend anyone, but it is what it is. So facts and statistics are, they are what they are. Okay, so that being said, first thing on my list, the reason, number one, that I was looking overseas for a wife or a bride, finding someone with traditional values or old-fashioned, whatever you want to call it, is very important to me. So my parents have been married for 45 years at this point. They've never been divorced. My mother raised me, and then when I graduated school, then she started working part-time, but
By the way, dude had a mean glow up. Let me see if I could find it real quick. There's one. So they go through the cost of living, how much it costs to build it. Look how my man looked in America. So this video is 2021. This is before. And this is December 2022. So basically a year, a little over a year. Look at the glow up. Little shoulders. My man was not eating good in America. My man was stressing out. Fast forward. Where is he at? My boy is looking. Look at them delts, boys. He's got himself he's eating good. She's cooking real good for my man here. Look at him.
I'd prefer to work 60 to 80 hours a week to take care of the family. So having those same values was important to me, and I see that being a very popular reason for men looking abroad or overseas, because it's definitely hard to find. It's actually even hard to discuss in the States.
So number.
Y'all remember that old guy that got interviewed by Filipina P? And he's like, been here 9 years. Women here treat you too damn well. Look at my man. He's well fed now. No more box dinners. No more microwaving shit. A woman that's holding it down.
2, smaller feet and petite.
We're going to, again, try to say this very politely, but this is also another topic that's easy to offend people.
Women in the West are fat.
The goal. I eat healthy. I work out a lot. It's important to me to find someone that...
And by the way, you see how good he looks, man? This is a man that's happy. This is a man with purpose. He's got a wife he loves and adores her, and he wants to be her protector, and he wants to naturally be the best version of himself. The man is taking care of himself well. He has something to live for. Do you see the difference? He's striving.
Looks athletic, and they're healthier and they're smaller. So I'm trying to be polite.
Shorter?
Shorter too, yes. But either way, it's getting harder and harder to find that in the U.S. In Western cultures, it is. Unfortunately, being larger just seems to be on the rise. I'm trying to be very polite about that. Another reason why men are looking overseas, definitely a reason why I looked, because over here...
I'm not going to be nice about it. Obesity is rampant in the West. No need, bro. Yes, go ahead and fat cancel me. I'm not an ally to fucking obesity and coronary heart disease. Yes, more and more women today are tipping the scales on heavy in the West. It's the truth. Statistically, look it up. We don't have to be nice about it. We don't have to sugarcoat people's damn feelings anymore. Get out of here, dude. We have pre-diabetics walking around. So many people about to be on pills before they even hit 30. It's insane. We got no necks, no ankles out here.
5% of the population is actually bigger. Majority, almost everyone is slender and more petite or fit or skinny. I don't want to use that word. But again, that's most of the population in Southeast Asia. So when you're looking for a bride or a wife, that's almost everyone compared to, now I'm not going to say the opposite in Western culture, but it's a half and half kind of situation. Okay, number 3.
Oh, for me, because your foreigners are taller or exotic for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were talking. Okay, for a minute.
Well, no, it says her, so it's probably you. Probably. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it, but it does say her. But yes, to finish what she was saying, in the U.S., I'm 5'10", which means what? It means I'm average, right? Let's just be honest here. 5'10", 5'9", whatever it is, that's just average in the States. Well, the average male in the Philippines is 5'2". So instantly, when I come over here,
says correction, 5'4". The average height is 5'4" for a man in the Philippines. 5'6" bros out here in the States. You heard?
Here, I'm taller. I have a different skin tone. I have an accent. So instantly, I'm tall, handsome, and exotic. I'm laughing saying that because in the States, I'm average at best. But over here, she looks at me and thinks I'm tall and handsome. And that's great. I love that.
It's nice everyone look at you. So it's nice I have husband like this. So yeah, it's just the fact that most Filipino will look at you and there's it's a foreigner. So it's nice that for me as a wife too.
Yeah, it's just the opposite. You leave your.
You see, she adores her man. She got a catch. In her eyes, she's got a catch. Wherever they go, they look at her man and go, wow, he's tall. He's 5'10". He's Giga Chad over there. Seriously. It's essentially what he looks like. And then she takes pride from that. She goes, yes, I nabbed myself a 5'10" Giga Chad and doing well. And love, genuine love. You ain't finding that over here. Instead, you better have a
Pagani BC.
Or you're in trouble, boy.
Your country, you go somewhere else where you're instantly taller and you have an accent. And even a different skin tone because, I'm more pale to her, but to me, her tan is sexy to me. So for both of us, it's better. I like her accent, she likes mine. I like her height, she likes mine. And
I like yours.
Yeah, and you laugh at it, which isn't fair, by the way, at all. But
it's real.
No, I don't think that's
specific about yours.
Well, I don't think that's fair, actually, because in the U.S., she'll say something and her accent is exotic and sexy.
Seeing it?
But when I say Mayong Hapon, she laughs because of my accent. But
it's cute. It's like very fancy to hear it. Like everything you pronounce is very fancy.
Oh, see, I'm fancy over here. That's another plus I didn't know about.
Oh.
So yeah, it's just when you start looking for a bride or a wife overseas, which a lot of people are doing, I did it. You're taller and handsome and you have an accent. It works well for you.
Now, juxtaposed to his dating prospects in the United States, guys, how he looks here. He's very well built now, but he wasn't back then, or maybe not under those clothes we couldn't notice, but dude's built well now, works out, takes care of himself. He's striving. He's got something to die for. What do you think his chances are on Tinder in the United States? Please, bro. He's not Pagani BCing it here in the States. Think about it. Vote with your feet. Get that blue book and go experience the world. Guys, this is one of the dangers also of the manosphere is that when they speak about women, they're speaking about a certain sect of women. Unfortunately, we're surrounded by them here in the West, or even worse, if you live in big cities, then some of the more like venomous rhetoric definitely applies. But when you start to step outside of the world, shit changes dramatically. Yes, for the most part, things tend to overlap to a certain extent, but it's not as radical as it is here. It's a big difference.
In the States, I would be a 4 or 5. Let's just be honest. Over here, girls look at me and think I'm a 9 or a 10, which is crazy to me.
There you go. There you go. What I tell you, when you step into a country as a foreigner, you are exotic. You are attractive. You are different. And that is sexy to the women there. He honestly said he was a fucking 4 in the United States. And he's a 9 walking around in the Philippines. We saw that other old head. He's talking about my women, my girls. I tell them straight up I'm not getting married. That dude was like 50, 60 something years old. Let this be a lesson to the young men in the chat that are having no luck. Even the older guys that are having no luck. And you're thinking something's wrong with you? Not really, brother. Nothing's really wrong with you. Our standards have become so delusional because of Instagram and TikTok and all that you've been priced out of the market. Artificially priced out because there are no male unicorns making millions of dollars riding in Pagani BC is going to swoop up your average woman. That's the delusion of the world today.
But I enjoy it.
Oh yeah, many like try to flirt with him. Or remember the girl in that story always asked like, "Are you married? Are you?"
See, and here's another story of outcome independence and pre-selection, essentially. He's already proving his value by just existing in that country because other women are angling for him in front of her. Competition anxiety. Naturally, he's not even doing anything. He's just living, bro. He's present in the country. That's it. Automatically creates competition anxiety. Everybody knows he's high value.
Happy?
Oh, yeah, no. I'm not, back in the States, I walk through the mall and our girls aren't like looking, smiling and waving, but here they're always smiling and waving, which is funny. I mean, girls, where I'll go shopping will know I'm married and I'll go back and then they're like, "Are you still married?" It's just kind of funny. But over here, yeah, it's in our best interest to look overseas. But over here, yeah, will know I'm married and I'll go back and then they're like, "Are you still married?" It's just kind of funny. But over here,
you see that look? That's yeah, bitch. He's gonna be married forever. I'm not letting this one slip away. Stupid.
Yeah, it's in our best interest to look overseas because we're taller and more handsome and
rare,
more exotic.
Very rare to see. It's not common. So it's like
Ho's trying to poach her man.
Like a celebrity in
Please.
stuff.
Yeah, very interesting, but it is true. Okay, so another really important reason to me is in this culture, they're not materialistic, and that was really important to me because unfortunately in the US, you start dating a pretty girl and she's going to list off like 20 different designer brand names that she cares about that are...
Yeah, besides the material things, this is another thing someone said in the chat. Anyways, they said don't bring them back because they'll get corrupted. Here's how you know you got a good one. Most of the world has caught up enough to make the United States not seem like such a leap in quality of life. As long as you have a little bit of money by foreign standards, which most American salaries pay tremendous compared to foreign countries, you will actually live a fairly comparable quality of life to other countries. Sure, infrastructure may be worse or less depending on where you go and what parts of the country you're in, right? The countryside versus the city or whatever. Regardless, the rest of the world has caught up to us. It's not a huge culture shock or difference as it once was, like the 80s, 70s, or 60s, where you're really going into the backwater of undeveloped nations. As long as you got money, man, that difference has that gap has closed. You really can't tell anymore.
"Quote unquote important to her," and they're not.
Oh yeah. And then the thought I was trying to finish. So most of the good women that are really grounded won't even want to come back into the United States. Most women are not going to want to leave their families anyway. You got the ones that are angling for basically papers are the ones that are telling you, when are we going back to the States? When are we going to visit the States? When are we going to move to the States? I want to get out of this country. I want to leave my family. I want to leave everything behind. That's not really marriage material woman. A marriage material woman is going to tell you, could you move here? can you stay here with my family? I would like to raise our children next to my family. I would like to have help raising children. I would like to have them in vicinity of their grandparents, aunts, uncles. She's thinking about family, not thinking about living the high life in America.
Not important. So I feel like a lot of pretty girls have their priorities wrong, where over here, I talked to her and, I kind of laughed the first time I asked her favorite brand name. She said,
Nike, I don't know, Adidas, Nike.
And Levi's, because they were reliable and they lasted a long time.
That's all I know.
Yeah, it wasn't even because she had ever had a pair of Levi's. It was because she heard that they last a long time. She didn't give me this laundry list of expensive things. It was simple.
I'm not comfortable asking. I don't grow up like that. So I just wait if you go give me something, then I will appreciate it. But I'm not going like, I want this. I am adjusting to that. You know that in US, I work and we just don't really grow up like that to us, but I grew up to give, so that's it.
So again, being materialistic is a really big plus, and that's harder and harder to find in the Western culture. I hate to say it, it's sad, because we shouldn't be materialistic at all. It doesn't make you a better person to be wearing expensive things or own expensive things. It doesn't make you happier either. Yes, generosity and giving. So I'm not going to say people in the US or Western cultures are not generous or don't give. A lot of people do. So I don't want to come off like I'm sounding negative. I mean, a lot of people give to charity, a lot of people help, things like that. Over here, I find it so much more prevalent, and it's a lot more powerful. And when I say that, her birthday just came up recently. She looked at me and smiled and said, honey, however much you'd be willing to spend on my birthday. And she's not materialistic. So when she said that, I was very confused. And she said, whatever you'd be willing to spend, just buy food with it. And I didn't know where she was going with this. I was very confused because we have a fridge, freezer, and a chest freezer. We have food for the next 6 months. So I'm looking at her, wondering what she means. And she explains that for her birthday, she just wanted me to buy as much food as, I'd be willing to buy, so she could give it away to people that didn't have food. And finding a beautiful girl in the US with those kind of priorities is more than rare. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. She's petite, she's pretty, she has her priorities right. I just don't see these things adding up into one person. And then you travel abroad or overseas, and it's common because they're very generous and giving because they.
Svoroda, thanks, brother. Having dated both from my country and others, the difference is insane. Local boss queens will drop you ASAP once a better guy in her terms enter the building. The other will drop everything for you.
They've grown up with very little, so when they want to help others.
Yeah, especially last Christmas, so give to the kids.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't even think about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, the ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I give also to my parents' workers. That we're having games and gave.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about Christmas. That's another example. But I mentioned her birthday, but on Christmas she just wanted to buy little kids' toys to give them to the kids and ice cream because they didn't have any. I mean, they didn't own any toys, so that's what she wanted for Christmas was little kid toys to give them away. It shows what kind of person she is and what kind of person it's easier to find abroad. I'm not saying you can't find it in the States, but it's just very rare. Over here, it's a lot more common, and I love it. I'm saying humble, I'll keep this brief, but unfortunately in the US, I would ask a lot of girls to rate themselves on 1 to 10, and pretty much everyone would say they were in between a 7 and a 10. Everyone thought they were just awesome, and they were almost perfect looking. And I would usually think they're like a 3 to a 6, but I wouldn't say that to them. And then I meet what I consider to be a beautiful woman, and then she just thinks she's average. Okay, well, to me, it's very rare, but right, that's what I mean. She's just very humble. She's not walking around with an attitude thinking, oh, I wear size 0 pants, I should be cocky at the gym. That's just not. That doesn't happen. In the gym, you can see the pretty girls, they always have an attitude because they know that they're smaller. Yeah, they were very...
It's very common here too, being small, so...
Right, that's what I mean. So it's so common that it's not, it doesn't give them an attitude. They're very humble.
That's good, they only eat small.
Yeah, you eat small,
Rice.
so you save me money? Sure, that's good.
Yeah, actually,
I don't care if
that's good because you eat small portion of meat and then big rice, but I don't grow.
Yeah, okay. So it's good that I married someone small because it helps me with my food budget. which is like $80 a month. So, anyways,
Commitment.
Ray wrote, learn her language and culture or you'll fail there. That's just general advice for you becoming an expat. Dude, first of all, this passport bro stuff, if you're going abroad for marriage and not just traveling and having fun, if you're trying to marry and settle down somewhere, you don't want to come bring them back into a society that's already on the decline. How else can you really say it? Degrading. Our culture is degrading before our very eyes. Our infrastructure is crumbling before our very eyes. Our schools and our colleges are getting indoctrinated and radicalized before our very eyes. The reason you get your passport is to leave, not come back. Why do people keep saying, yeah, don't bring her back? Yeah, you got to learn their language. You have to do that anyway to be an expat. The point is you live in another country to maximize your dollar. Why would you ever go back? You don't go out there temporarily, bring them back, and then, oh yeah, expect everything to be peachy. You're going to be broke again. You're going to be barely surviving again. Your salary is not enough to cover any decent lifestyle and start a family out here. So what are we repeating? The common sense things that you need to do when you prepare to become an expat.
Well, that's abbreviation, but commitment over here is taken a lot more seriously.
Oh.
And I just want to say again, I'm not going to insinuate or say that everyone in Western culture or everyone in the US or Canada doesn't take commitment seriously or marriage seriously. You have to understand over here, divorce is illegal. So when you look at the actual statistics for people that have gone and gotten an annulment, it's less than 4%.
Divorce is illegal in the Philippines. I didn't know that.
And the reason why is because their culture, they're raised to know that divorce is illegal. Only marry the right person because you can only do it once and you can't divorce them. So they're brought up that way and they cherish it and they know how serious it is, where unfortunately...
Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? Out here we have no fault divorces. Over there, divorce is just illegal, period. So you better pick the right one. She can't leave you and take you for half your shit. Ayo.
In the US, I mean, the statistics are 50% or maybe a little over at this point. But it's nice to look for a bride or wife in another country where they take it very seriously.
Yeah, they respect, maybe sort of respect that you're gathered in one blessing.
Yeah, I mean, to your family, marriage is a very religious thing, and her family is very religious, so they don't take marriage lightly. So I respect that.
Yeah, they have always go to church, but us.
But we should go to church more, actually, but don't actually blame me. Someone likes to sleep in, so I wake up and she's like, yeah, we'll go to church. And I'm like, okay, well, we're 10 minutes late and you're still in bed, so I don't think we're going to make it. But anyways, that's another topic for another day.
Oh, my door.
That's up to you. You don't have to. I can read it.
9. Oh, I have to say that. Grateful and appreciative.
Because we take a lot of little things for granted. And then you go to a country where having water, having shelter, having food, having your family around you is the most valuable, important thing. And we forget that. So we're constantly complaining about things we shouldn't. And they're very appreciative for the things that they have. So they're not complaining about the things that they don't have.
Got a really good question here. You rightly advise people to be a part of a brotherhood. How would you accomplish that overseas? It's the same process as you would here in the States, man. Obviously, you have to put yourself out there in the sense of, for men, the easiest thing is to go to an MMA gym. If you're in the Philippines, if you're in Thailand, if you're wherever you are, Dubai, it doesn't matter. You have to put yourself out there and find like-minded people. Quite a few people speak English. So if you're from an English-speaking nation and you go overseas and become an expat and you have to start over with friends and everything, it's not that difficult. You have money to spend. You have a ton of expendable income now as a result of living overseas, where you can actually afford to go out and do things and be a part of clubs and go to the gym and get private lessons or not, or with a group, or there's so many things that you can do in order to meet more interesting people because your dollar goes further. In the States, you might be budgeting. You might say, no, I can't take that road trip. No, I can't go visit that restaurant. No, I can't afford that gym lesson. There's so many things that are constraining you from going out there and finding a group. And then there's Facebook. By the way, for expats all over the world, they can tell you there's Facebook groups and other social media groups where expats gather and they help each other out. So for example, say, look, like this guy said, rock climbing. Say you just freshly moved to whatever XYZ country, they will have a group for, say, Brits moving there, Americans moving there and say, hey, just moved to the Philippines, would like to meet, make some friends, and find out whatever. What are the best spots in town to eat, best beaches to surf, best mountains to climb, best trails to hike, whatever it is. You can find that. There's going to be a bunch of people that are going, hey, welcome to XYZ country. I've been here for a couple of years. Let's go out, have a drink, and I'll show you around. It's that simple, man. Don't overthink this stuff. The most important part of this is figuring out a skill, something that you can essentially do remotely so you can have your American salary over there with their cost of living in whatever country you so decide. Okay, this doesn't have to be just strictly Philippines or Southeast Asia or wherever. It could be Latin America, it could be Asia, wherever you want, man. It's not really important. Just go to where the culture and the people mesh well with you the most, and you will find a community of expats to help you settle down and put some roots down. And they'll make the transition easier for you. That's all it is. And then Ryan, thanks for the 50, brother. You're wild. If you bring them back, you set yourself up for failure. You're putting yourself back in the same situation you left, but now a 9 or 10 while you're still a 5 or 6. After a few years, she will find out about no-fault divorce and move on to another. And I think Ryan said earlier that he knows firsthand this experience because this actually happened to him. So there you go.
So, I mean, I've done a video on how my wife changed me. I'm not going to get into all that right now. You can watch it if you want, but it's changed me. It made me a better
Ice Cube
person
story.
Marrying her. So it's a positive thing. Knowing how appreciative she is and grateful she is, it's just amazing. Where in the U.S., I'm not going to be negative. I'm trying not to, but you buy someone a nice gift, and then it's not nice enough, or they want more. And over here, if I bought her some eggs and a thing of rice or something, she would smile and be thankful for it because she knows that's important to have food. They're not complaining about the little things. That's pretty much it. I tried not to make this video too dull, and I was trying to make it positive, but yet touch some tricky topics that people rather not talk about. And I know this from being in the US and dating someone overseas and being engaged and marrying someone. A lot of people are uncomfortable or have a hard time talking about it because a lot of the population just starts kind of attacking people. And when I say that, I would see people firsthand, well, why aren't you just finding someone locally? And they would actually get upset. But the fact is, when you go through these things, it's very hard to find. I mean, you take 2 or 3 or 4 of the things that were important to me, it's almost impossible to find them combined, let alone all the things. I mean, I could not find a slender, attractive girl with an accent that cared about traditional values and was giving and wasn't materialistic. I just hate to say it, but that was harder than finding a unicorn. It just didn't exist. So I understand why other men are just looking overseas, and it's easy to find. Anyways, I hope we kept
Easy. It's easy to find.
this video happy.
We try. I can add like ad-lib or something because it's my heart's
Yeah, we're trying to say a lot of these things politely without offending anyone, because I'm not judging.
Guys, we already know. We've seen Passport Bro videos from Western women, and we know exactly how they feel and what they try to say to this man and his wife. There you go. That is a positive video on Passport Bros. Let's not even call it Passport Bros. On men just going overseas for relationships, marriage, love, a new life.